In this lesson, we're going to talk about developing your six-figure funnel formula hook and promise. Now, these are the foundation of your marketing message. Your hook and your promise are what give power to your entire marketing message and your entire marketing funnel. It's the hook and the promise, which are two separate components that work together, that differentiate you from every other marketing message out there and ultimately get prospects to pay attention and consume your marketing. So we're going to start out by talking about the hook, what it is and how to develop it. And then we're going to talk about the promise, what it is, and also how to develop that. So what is a hook? Well, a hook is the element of your marketing message that grabs prospects' attention. It's the element of your marketing message that piques your prospects' attention, grabs their interest, and gives them a reason to continue consuming your message. Remember, at the foundation of a solid, sound, powerful marketing message, you have to first and foremost, before anything else, grab their attention, grab prospects' attention. And then once you have their attention, you have to keep their attention. And it's a lot easier to grab somebody's attention than it is to maintain their attention. What the hook does is it not only grabs their attention, but it gives them a reason to continue to pay attention to what it is that you have to say, to consume your marketing message. Now, there are some key elements of a hook, and I want to walk you through each one. First and foremost is that it's different. It's unique. And I'm going to give you examples of hooks in just a second, but a hook is different. It's unique. It's uncommon. It's you saying or presenting something different to the marketplace. It's you saying or presenting something that's contradictory to what others are saying. It's you presenting something that's new, that's fresh, that's weird, that's out of the ordinary to the marketplace. In order to develop a solid hook, it can't be plain vanilla, it can't be run-of-the-mill, it can't be common. It has to be different and unique. Of course, every hook has to be relevant, right? It has to be relevant to the prospect as it relates to their problem, their situation, their desire, their want, their greatest need. A solid hook instantly communicates a benefit. It immediately communicates a benefit to the prospect. And at the foundation of all of your marketing, hopefully you know that at the foundation, hopefully you understand that it needs to be benefit driven. It needs to be all about the prospect. What prospects care about most and what they want to know from you, what they want to hear from you is, how is what you are saying, what you are telling me, what you are offering me going to change my life, going to improve my life, going to solve my problem, going to impact my current situation and my future situation for the better, right? And that's when we say that is what we're talking about, is those things are the benefits, right? And so a hook immediately communicates a big benefit. I already referred to the fact that a good solid hook conveys newness and freshness. Remember, what prospects want to know is what's new. They don't want to know what's old. And the fact of the matter is, right, wrong, or indifferent, they don't even want to know what's old, even if it works, even if it's proven and effective. They want to know what's new and proven and effective. And so your hook has to convey that there is a freshness, a newness, a cutting edge aspect to what it is that you are talking about. It has to be built on a unique idea. In other words, and I kind of alluded to that in the first bullet point, that it's something different from what others are talking about. It's something different from what others are presenting. It's something different from what others are sharing. And ultimately, the whole goal of this hook, in addition to grabbing attention and maintaining that attention, is to prevent what I call mental opt-out. And mental opt-out is basically when a prospect sees a message on a landing page, on a lead generation page, on a page that's offering a free video or free report or whatever it may be, and they immediately mentally opt out because they feel they've heard it, because they feel they know it, or they've seen it before, or it's more of the same. You see, your hook prevents mental opt-out. It needs to prevent mental opt-out by being unique and different, by conveying newness, freshness, by showing that it's relevant, and of course, by immediately communicating a big, solid benefit. And so let me give you some examples of hooks so you can actually see this in motion. And so the first example is if you're over the age of 54 and behind in saving for retirement, there's a new investment vehicle that guarantees to double your net worth in 6 years. And so the first thing that I want you to see, and this is all, of course, just made up, but the first thing that I want you to see is that it immediately speaks to an audience, right? And so this goes back to what you learned earlier, which is that the first important element in direct response is the list. And so in this case, ideally, we would be talking to individuals over the age of 54, right? We're talking individuals in their 60s and potentially in their 70s. And it's addressing a specific problem that these individuals have. And we're going to talk about this a little bit more, addressing a specific problem, but you can see how it's addressing a specific problem. What is that problem? Those individuals are behind in saving for retirement. So who are we talking to? Individuals over the age of 54. What is their specific problem? That they are behind in saving for retirement. And so what is the main hook? The main hook is that there's a new investment vehicle, right? And so it's something that is new, is fresh, it's unique, it's different, right? There's a new investment vehicle. Just the fact that it is new, that we're able to say there's a new investment vehicle, makes it fresh, makes it unique, and makes it different. And then there is a big benefit that it guarantees to double your net worth in 6 years. And so the implied promise is that you'll double your net worth in 6 years. The new investment vehicle that guarantees to double your net worth in 6 years is that big benefit, right? And so that's one example of a hook. Here's another example. For online marketers with small advertising budgets, there's now a new way to get all the paid traffic you want for free. And so again, who are we talking to? We're talking to online marketers. What is their problem? That they've got a small advertising budget, and so we're implying that they can't get a whole lot of traffic, right? Because they have a small advertising budget. And so there's now a new way, freshness, newness, unique, different, right? On the cusp, cutting edge. And what's the big benefit? To get all the paid traffic you want for free. And so when it comes to developing and constructing your hook, there's a couple of different ways to do this. Now, before I go through this little list of ways to construct your hook, I want you to think about the hook within this context. We've talked thus far in this module about what is it that other competitors are saying. What is it that they are saying to the marketplace? What promises are they making? What is it that they're talking about? How is it that they're positioning their content, their products, their services, right? We also talked about assessing marketplace sophistication and understanding what's been said to prospects before and what is currently being said to them. Now is when you use that information to begin to construct your hook, right? Because now ultimately what you're looking for is where is the what's called white space or gap in the marketing of competitors in your niche? What is it that they are not saying? What is the angle, the hook that they are not tapping into that you can potentially tap into? Right? And so that's what we're looking for. We did the earlier research, specifically marketplace sophistication, and an aspect of assessing the competitive landscape so that we knew what not to say because of what is already being said in the marketplace. So now it's about constructing a hook that is different from the research that you've done. So there's a couple of different ways to do this. Number one, you can start off with, did you know, if you, or are you, right? If you're over the age of 50, or are you over the age of 50 and struggling to save for retirement? If so, there's a brand new vehicle that guarantees to blah, 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 right? Or did you know, for people over the age of 54, there's now a brand new investment vehicle that guarantees to double your net worth in 6 years, right? See, that's a hook. And to kind of bring you forward for a bit, and we're going to be talking about this in depth, step by step in a future module, but a hook, like I said, is what you use to grab your prospect's attention. So if we were talking to individuals over the age of 54 that are struggling to save for retirement, and we said, did you know that for individuals over the age of 54 who are behind in their retirement, that there is a brand new vehicle guaranteed to double your net worth in 6 years, that serves as a hook. It hooks prospects in by grabbing their attention and giving them a reason to continue to listen. Now, another element is, and you saw me highlight this, is what we call specificity of issue, circumstance, or situation. And so when you're constructing your hook, you want to think of the specific issue, the specific problem, the specific circumstance, the specific situation that your market is in, that your product or service, that your message addresses. So in the example of the 54-year-old individual, the specific situation or issue was that they're behind in their retirement, right? With the example of the online marketers, the specific issue was that they had a small budget and so they couldn't get a lot of traffic. And so you're looking for specificity with the issue, circumstance, or situation that your market is dealing with. Understand that in marketing, there is no room for generalities, for vagueness. Vague generalities do not sell. Specificity sells. Specificity, being specific, gives legs to your marketing message. The next element is that there is a revelation of a new idea or concept. And this is a revelation of a new idea or concept to prospects, right? And so it's something that prospects haven't heard before. And so it's not necessarily new to you as the marketer. Remember that you are not the prospect. It's you are now revealing something new, a new idea, a new concept, a new tactic, a new strategy, a new process, a new system, a new method to the market. Right? And ultimately that revelation of a new idea carries with it a big benefit, right? And so it's, did you know? Specificity of issue, circumstance, or situation, and then revelation of a new idea or concept. And I really got to give credit where credit is due for this. I first learned this from Andy Jenkins, and this is an incredibly powerful way to begin to construct your hook. And I want you to think about your hook as literally just one sentence. It's the thing that you're going to learn in a later module that we put at the very start of your marketing funnel. It's the very piece of information that we convey to prospects in your marketing funnel. And the rest of your marketing message is built off of your hook and, of course, your promise. So let's talk about what is a promise. So a promise is the element of your marketing message that tells prospects the big benefit they stand to gain by consuming your marketing message. And I want to clarify something here. I'm not talking about the big benefit of your product or service. What we're talking about right now is the big benefit of consuming your marketing message. In essence, it's a promise that you make to prospects of a benefit that they stand to gain by watching your video, by reading your letter, by reading your email, by visiting your web page. And so let me give you the elements of a powerful promise. So one, it presents a specific outcome or result. And so this is key. You see the word specific again. Again, you cannot promise a general outcome. You cannot promise a vague outcome. You can't promise that somebody will be more successful. That's too general. That's too vague. You can't promise that somebody will have a nicer body. That's too general. That's too vague. You can't promise that somebody will have more money. That's too vague. That's too general. You've got to give a specific outcome. You saw in the example of that you will double your net worth. You'll double your net worth in 6 years. Well, that is a specific outcome, a specific result. So you have to promise a specific outcome or result. Next is that it conveys that the mechanism is different and unique. And so what is the mechanism? Well, we talked about the mechanism earlier when we talked about marketplace sophistication. The mechanism is the aspect of your product or service that delivers the result. So what is it about your product? What feature, what component of your product or service actually delivers the result? So if you remember, when I gave the example of the mechanism, when we were going through the different stages of marketplace sophistication, and I was talking about Garcinia Cambogia, and I talked about how pharmaceutical grade Garcinia will take 20 pounds off you in 20 days. Well, do you see how first and foremost it presents a specific outcome or result? Takes 20 pounds off you in 20 days. That is specific, not vague or general. And what is the mechanism that is different or unique? It's the pharmaceutical grade Garcinia, right? And so, you got to make sure that you are highlighting the mechanism, especially if your marketplace is at the third or fourth stage of sophistication. It resolves an urgent problem. And so what we're talking about here is you understanding your marketplace, you understanding your prospect, you understanding what is the urgent problem that they have, that your product or service solves, that your product or service addresses, that your marketing message deals with, right? Because in an ideal world, the market that you've chosen has an urgent problem that you are now going to solve. And the more urgent the problem is, the better you're going to do, right? The higher your conversions are going to be if you address that problem. And so you want to make sure that the specific outcome, the specific result is resolving an urgent problem, not a possible problem, not a future problem, not a potential problem, but a problem that they are experiencing right now, that they are aware of and that they want solved. And that is key. And last element of a powerful promise is that it fulfills a deep desire. It fulfills a deep desire that they have, right? And so if you're dealing with individuals in the weight loss arena, it's a desire that they have to strip off pounds. If you are dealing with internet marketers who have a small advertising budget and aren't getting traffic, and you're showing them this brand new technique that lets them get all the traffic they want, for free to scale their sales. Well, that fulfills the deep desire that they have to scale sales and to have a successful business. And so let me give you some examples of promises in marketing. This first one is actually from a promotion that I did, that I had for one of the first companies that I started about 13 years ago online. And so it says, simply send these 5 emails and watch as 50% or more of your inactive patients call your office to schedule an appointment. And so you see how this is it's specific. Simply send these 5 emails and watch as 50% or more inactive patients call your office to schedule an appointment. And so it is specific. It addresses a problem that these doctors had, which was attrition in their patient base, or patients going inactive. And it's tremendous desire for them. I know it was a tremendous desire for them to reactivate inactive patients and maintain their relationship with patients. And so specific promise. Here is another one, and it's another example of a promise for the same product. And so it says, use this little email sequence 2 times a month and you never have to worry again about patients leaving your office. So tells them specifically, use this little email sequence 2 times and you never have to worry about patients leaving your office, right? So you see how you never have to worry again about patients leaving your office, because worrying was the specific was the problem, the urgent problem that they wanted solved. And, or I should really say, patients leaving their office was the urgent problem that they wanted solved. The deep desire was to not worry anymore about that. And it was specific of what to do, right? Like specificity in here 2 times. And so this is another example of a promise. And so When it comes to constructing your promise, here's how I want you to begin to think about this. What is the outcome or result that your product will give to prospects? What is the number one most valuable outcome, most valuable result that your product or service will give to prospects? What is that number one outcome, right? What will your prospect's life be like after investing in your product or service? What's going to be different for them? What's going to be better for them? What's going to be added to their life that they don't have now that they want? What's going to be taken out of their life that they're dealing with right now that they no longer want to deal with? And finally, what is the unique mechanism of your product or service that fulfills the promise? What is that unique mechanism that we talked about in the lesson on marketplace sophistication that's actually going to deliver these results, that's actually going to be responsible for the transformation that your prospects go through? These are the three questions to begin to ask yourself to begin constructing your promise. Let me say once again before I wrap up this lesson that developing a hook and promise based on what it is that is already being said to the marketplace, so that what you're saying is different, is unique, is fresh, is new, is critical to your marketing, and provides the entire foundation for the rest of your marketing funnel.